The Porsche 911 has been around for 50 years, but recently there's been a death in the family. The next GT3, which replaces this car in November, will swap the manual gearbox for an automatic. Die-hard fans like me are in mourning. Join us for a farewell drive in its previous generation GT3 to see what all the fuss is about. There's something really special about being in a Porsche 911 GT3. It might look like a track car that's taken a wrong turn, especially with that standard issue rear wing and the semi-slick tyres. But in reality, it's the perfect compromise between a car you can take to a track day and then drive home in reasonable comfort. But the best thing about the GT3 is the engine. It's the same unit that used to power the Le Mans going GT1 racing cars. And in this Mark II 997 GT3, it's been bored out to 3.8 litres. You can't talk about the GT3 and not mention the numbers. It's got 435 horsepower, 317 pound-foot of torque, 0 to 62 takes 4.1 seconds, and flat out it'll do 194 miles per hour. At about 4,400 RPM is when the GT3 really comes alive, and this is what that feels like. Look how well it picks up. Listen to that noise. And it will keep going like this to 8,500 RPM. And it's the noise that I love most about this car. Such a rich, deep, meaty sound, not harsh like a racing engine. The GT3 has one of the best steering systems fitted to any road car. Forget that electrical nonsense in the 991, this is a proper hydraulic rack. And it's so delicious in its feedback, you can just feel everything that the car is doing. And it means you can drive it harder and harder. One of the reasons why I'm going to mourn the loss of this GT3 is that it offers such an analog driving experience. It's actually quite a hard car to drive because all the controls are really stiff. It's got a really stiff clutch pedal. The gear change is very awkward and you have to be very precise with it. But it all works in harmony, and that's what I love about it. That rear wing might look like a ridiculous track day special, and the front splitter and body kit is something you get from Halfords. But in reality, they have huge aerodynamic benefit to this car, giving it loads of downforce and sucking it onto the road at speed. That's something you want from a rear-engine car. You don't want it moving around on you. These bucket seats that are fitting me so snugly are a 3,200 quid cost option. They are worth it though. They're the seats from the Carrera GT, and they're brilliant. This car has also got the Club Sport pack, which gives you a fire extinguisher, the roll cage, and also the option of a 6-point harness. Thankfully it's not fitted here. And all this means that you could basically take this car out racing tomorrow and probably win. I reckon the GT3 and this kind of setup with a manual gearbox and so on, it's probably the last of a breed. We won't get cars like this anymore. In fact, you can buy one of these on Auto Trader now for about 50 grand, but don't expect them to stay at that price for long. I reckon in 10 years time, this will be a real collector's item. What's sad is this trend that car manufacturers were on to make cars less mechanical. Look at the new Renault Sport Clio. It's lost its manual gearbox. You can't buy any Ferrari nowadays with a manual gearbox. And who would have thought it, but from November, you won't be able to buy a GT3 with a manual gearbox. The 911 GT3 is about as good as drivers' cars get. Undoubtedly the new 991 version will be quicker and just as accomplished. But in moving from a manual to an automatic gearbox, Porsche's removed one of the ingredients that makes the 911 GT3 so special. This is a sad day.